Now, Sports Talk with Broads. Here's Hunter Brody.
It's a weird spot right now for Philadelphia sports fans. Carson Wentz had the worst game of his career on Sunday. Joel Embiid scored 0 points in Toronto, but I'll tell you what, the Flyers won't fail you as they get a W on home ice against the Vancouver Canucks. A nice 2-1 victory. And listen, it's not like the Vancouver Canucks are some squad you can just walk all over. They have respected young talent. They have a fantastic netminder. And the Flyers, even though that they're not able to score right now, it seems as if the team is struggling to find ways to put the puck in the net. They made the most of their opportunities. Jakub Voracek, of all people, stepped up and had 2 points in this one, including the game winner. They did enough. They grabbed the 2 points. That is what is important. I know the goal scoring is a concern, but the way they're playing hockey right now, they're doing the fundamentals right for the most part. Of course, there's slip-ups here and there, but nobody plays a perfect game 100%. But they're playing a good fundamental game. Defensively, they're able to keep their opponent to 17 shots on Carter Hart. I mean, seriously, that can't go unnoticed. Before we dive more into this game, I want to let you know about the promo code BROAD that you can use at SeatGeek's checkout page for $20 off of your total purchase. You get to go to a game and save money. It's a no-brainer. Use the promo code BROADS today. So the Flyers actually go down 1-0 in this game. In the first period, there was a turnover involved. The fourth line had a turnover, Raffle, which is weird because he has been very consistent, and someone Alain VIgneault has trust in on that fourth line, but he does make a mistake, and it results in a Vancouver goal as JT Miller one-touches the puck, and it goes by Carter Hart, short side. I didn't really love Carter Hart in that moment. I don't think he played it the best. And if you asked him, I'm sure he would say, I want that one back because it did go short side on him. But you need to factor in that there was a turnover involved. But I do believe that if Carter Hart was in better position, he might have been able to save that one. It's just short side goals for me. I look at the netminder, and that's coming off of maybe a biased stay-at-home defenseman in his prime who would normally keep forwards in specific spots so the goaltender could have the best angle. And when I used to come off the ice after a goal, the first thing I think of, it was short side. Your goalie could have had that one. Compared to if I got undressed, danced in between my legs, and I fall trying to save a breakaway or something. You know what I mean? Like two different scenarios. So, maybe I'm being biased because of the stay-at-home defenseman thing. Second period, Shayne Couturier gets a puck in the slot. Now, this was assisted by Robert Hägg and Voracek. Now, Robert Hägg did a great job of actually jumping up into the play, throwing a nice wrister on net, and Robert Hägg in the lineup for Shayne Gostisbehere once again. I do have to mention that because Ghost, another healthy scratch, just trying to clear his head. That's what Alain VIgneault is going with. They know the talent's there. They're trying to get Shayne to stop thinking so much. But I don't know how scratching him really does that, because when he gets scratched, he gets stressed out and frustrated, and then when you get on the ice, it's not about having a clear mind anymore. It's, okay, I got to make the right plays, and it might even make him more tense. But listen, Robert Hägg stepped up. He joined the rush. He put a shot on net. It ended up going behind the net. Voracek throws it back out. There was miscommunication, I guess, by Vancouver because they had it on their stick, and somehow it falls right back to Shayne Couturier, who just rips it past Thatcher Demko to tie the hockey game up 1-1. That second period, it was all Flyers. They were dominating, coming in waves, putting shots on Demko left and right, pumping them. Just could not score, but the Flyers were clearly in control of the hockey game and controlled the pace, and it was really entertaining to watch. I was just praying and hoping that they would find a way to score to take the lead. They eventually do, but it comes in the third period, about the halfway mark in the third. Jakub Voracek on the left side of Demko. When you're behind Voracek, that is, it's to Demko's right, but Voracek was on the left side of the ice when you're watching it from behind Voracek, and he rips one past Demko, glove side, post, crossbar, and in. Voracek now scoring in back-to-back games. He gets 2 assists, so Alain VIgneault has called out the veterans. It took a little bit of time for Voracek to actually respond, but in the last 2 hockey games, he truly did respond. Now, it helps playing with Shayne Couturier because Couturier has been on one hell of a run. He has a great plus-minus rating in this run. He's putting points together. It seems as if that's helping out Jakub Voracek. But you got to give credit to those two guys because both of them had 2 assists, and they were difference makers in this game without a doubt. But it was super nice for Voracek to finally find the net again after scoring it. It's finally nice to see him get some sort of stretch going. He's playing passionate hockey. He's playing as if he has confidence, and he even had an interesting choice of words in the post game that I can't even repeat on here. He's throwing F-bombs out there, but he's got his swagger back, if you will, according to his post-game comments. But good. I mean, listen, when he does play his game, when he is successful, he is a player in this league that can rack up points, that can be effective and very efficient. So he just needs to play with that confidence and understand that he is still that player inside. It just needs to come out and play the way that he's been playing over the last 2 games. From that moment, though, there was a sort of momentum shift. Vancouver got a lot of pressure. And maybe they felt as if they needed to press more because they knew they were down with about 10 minutes to go in the game. They had to find a way to score. So Vancouver started putting pressure on the Flyers, and the Flyers were on their heels, but guess what? It doesn't matter. They were able to find a way to get the puck out of the zone, to keep the puck out of the net. Carter Hart did come up big and did make a couple late saves there that were very, very important and clutch. Love that, by the way. But at the end of the day, they snagged 2 points. They played great hockey at home. The Wells Fargo Center is very good to them. There's no denying it. They put together good games in front of their home crowd. Another thing I need to note. Special teams, the penalty kill. Vancouver came into the game with a very solid power play. The Flyers stopped them twice. It's crucial. You can't stress it enough how important special teams is. I'm loving the way that they're PKing. I think it is very well thought out. I think they have the right players on the PK. They're willing. They will sacrifice. They will do the dirty work. They will make the plays. And it is showing, statistically, it is showing that this team has bought into what the coaches are selling them on the penalty kill, and not just the penalty kill. I talked about how good they were defensively and how they hold these players to 17 shots on net. I'm talking players who has success in this league. They have young guns on the other side. They do. Pedersen. Kid is a stud. Kid walks all over players left and right every single night. He's filthy. He's got sick mitts. What was he held to today? Yeah, I'll tell you, nothing. Nothing at all. Wasn't able to get any sort of offense. How about Brock Besser? I didn't see him on the score sheet. Bo Horvat snuck in there with the assist on JT Miller's goal. But the young guns on this squad, the Flyers did a great job of keeping them off the score sheet. Now, speaking of this score sheet, well, I guess that really doesn't correlate. I guess roster is really what I'm trying to do here, and none of this made sense at all. So anyway, where I'm going with this is JVR. JVR on the 4th line, playing under 10 minutes. It's just not the way I like to see it, all right? I have a lot of respect for Alain VIgneault. I think he has done a great job at changing the culture and having this team really play inspired hockey. But I mentioned this. I think that there are some things that he overthinks. He puts a lot of pressure on some players. There's no reason for JVR to be on the 4th line. Now, Alain VIgneault states that he doesn't think of his 4th line as a grinder type line like it once was in the old days where you put some goons and some bigger guys out there who go out and check people. He doesn't think of his 4th line like that, which makes sense because JVR, Raffl, Pitlick, those aren't the type of players to play that checking type 4th line. But for JVR, he needs to be playing with more talent. He needs to be getting more ice time. He has to be playing with better players. That's just the way I see it. He will not succeed in a 4th line left wing role. We need to see something change with that. We have to. I'd rather him play where Scott Laughton is and have Scott Laughton play as the 4th liner, and that's not to knock Scott Laughton. It's to really try and boost JVR. I think a Laughton, Raffl, Pitlick 4th line can be very valuable and be very beneficial in a line that you can trust as a head coach. but it's just to get JVR going. You didn't spend all that money to bring him in here for him to play fourth line minutes. You just didn't. You just didn't. Some people who were impressive in this one for me. When I'm looking at the defense, I will have to say Justin Braun and Robert Haig, because they both made plays offensively. And they're guys who you really don't see, flashy offensively. The Robert Haig jump up in the rush play, well, that factored into a goal. Voracek's game winner goal, it all started with Justin Braun. Two guys you don't really think of when you think of offensive production from the defensive spot. So you got to tip your caps to them. And of course, Jake Voracek. It's just really good for him to get on the score sheet like that consistently, 2 games in a row, having a multi-point night, the second one with the game winner, finding the net. This is what we need. We need the veterans to step up. You're starting to see someone like Oscar Lindblom maybe hit reality. I know he was on a pace to score a lot of goals, but you're starting to see him reach a little bit of reality. I thought he was overachieving in the beginning of the season. Travis Konechny has been quiet in terms of scoring goals. Maybe you're starting to see some frustration with that. Maybe it has to do with Alain VIgneault throwing out different lines all the time and mixing things up. He was off to a really hot start as well, something that you wouldn't expect him to keep up either, of course. You would think at times those two would hit more of reality, but, you don't want it to go too long without seeing them score, or things can go south quickly, sort of like what Jake Voracek was in to start this season. It was a tough stretch for him in the beginning, and hopefully he can find ways to stay on this track. Maybe playing with Shayne Couturier helps that. The moral of the story, Flyers beat a good Vancouver team on their home ice to get 2 points. They are getting points. They really are. You take a look at their last 10 games, 12 games, they're finding ways to grab points. Now, there are frustrating losses in there. There are frustrating games where you get 1 point, and that's what I'm talking about with the losses. Like, oh, man, you could have had 2 here, but you lost in overtime to the Flames, or you lost in a shootout to the Flames. You only snagged 1 point there, and you had a 3-goal lead in the third period. You blew it. You only got 1 point there. Things like that. But big picture, they're putting together a decent stretch of hockey. And if they continue to do it, dare I say, we could be in the playoffs. Let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you so much for watching. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe. See you next time.